The amazing world of Gumball is famous for many things, but one thing that truly makes it unique is its incredible animation. From 2D and 3D to puppets and even anime styles, today we're going to reveal how Gumball broke all the rules, exploring every animation style it's ever used. Stick around until the end to discover how the show reinvented itself over and over, and why its animation is so genius.
I'm just saying, why do people say grapefruit and tuna fish, but not egg chicken or beef mammal?
Part 1. Original Animation Style. The show's original animation style started in the pilot on May 9th, 2008. The show didn't shy away from using different styles, with 2D Gumball, 3D Darwin, and other characters like Tina and Rocky being CGI. These were all mixed together and perfectly tied into a real-world setting based on real buildings. The world of Gumball is built piece by piece, with photos, models, lighting, and textures all layered together. The way they fit 2D and 3D animation together is impressive. From Season 1 to 3, we see subtle changes to the main characters. Darwin, who was originally 3D, became 2D Gumball, who had oval pupils and thin outlines, now has a cleaner and more consistent design with round pupils and bolder lines. Anna, Nicole, and Richard also shifted to a smoother, more polished style. Part 2. Different animation styles. The show begins to use completely different animation styles. 2D animation. Gumball and Darwin's carefree attitude takes a hit when they accidentally insult their parents. In the episode The Kids, they learn that no one stays young forever after calling their parents old. The boys' voices suddenly break, forcing them to confront the reality of growing up. To cope, they break into a song about enjoying their youth while it lasts. This pivotal moment is brought to life through a visually stunning 2D animation shift, with a more vibrant, stylized, and energetic look created by the studio CRCR. This isn't the only time the show uses a major animation shift to enhance a scene. In the drama, when Gumball takes Darwin to confront Carrie, the animation changes again to a fast-paced and beautifully colored style that's reminiscent of Spider-Verse, thanks to animator Jonathan Daub. These shifts aren't just for show, they're a way for the artists to go wild and bring their own unique styles to the screen, elevating the storytelling. Claymation. In the episode The Lie, Gumball makes up a fake holiday called Sluzzletag to cheer everyone up during the January Depression. The whole town embraces it, but Gumball later freaks out when he realizes everyone is expecting a toilet Santa to show up with gifts. He imagines the town's reaction if they found out the truth, picturing himself being completely squashed. In a visual gag that lasts only a few seconds, he literally turns into a clay version of himself. This is the only time the show uses real claymation, and it's a perfect way to show Gumball's crushing realization. While real claymation is only used once, the show has the character Clayton, who looks and moves like he's made of clay, but is actually a CGI model. He still perfectly captures the feel of classic stop motion, showing how Gumball can master the vibe of different animation styles without actually using them. This clever trick highlights the show's constant innovation. Old school animation. When Gumball launches into his grand plan for the Sluzzletag holiday, the world around him stops for a moment. Then, Darwin suddenly appears in a completely different animation style. It's an instant transition and a tribute to the golden age of animation. His design transforms into an old-school version with simple, hand-drawn lines and bouncy, elastic movements reminiscent of rubber hose animation. This visual tribute fully transports us back to the cartoons of yesteryear, like Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes. You can sense the low frame rate, the lack of detailed backgrounds, and a type of visual humor that defined the classics. For those of us who grew up with those cartoons, it's a moment of pure nostalgia. Gumball doesn't just change styles, it does so with such perfection that it demonstrates the creator's deep love for animation history and there to pay homage to it within their own story. Comic book style. When Gumball and Darwin realize everyone at school is praising Gumball, they discover it's because of a new and mysterious superhero named Laserheart. They soon find out that the hero is a creation of their friend Sarah, who draws a comic where Gumball is the star. Naturally, Gumball falls in love with the idea, and Darwin, who is dubbed the Smooge, gets just as excited.
Just for you.
I'm sorry, Don Luciano.
You know the sad thing.
In their minds, they're no longer just kids. They are the brave heroes of Elmore. This fantasy is brought to life through a full-on comic book-style animation. The entire scene transforms into a vibrant and dynamic comic book, with the action laid out in colorful panels and saturated with bold, vivid hues. The animation is filled with over-the-top moves, speed lines that emphasize every punch, and an explosion of visual and sound effects like POW and wham that pop up on screen as if jumping from the pages of a classic comic. The show takes this a step further by weaving in references to iconic heroes like Superman and Batman, showing Gumball and Darwin in classic heroic poses and epic fight scenes that contrast with their clumsy reality. This change in style completely alters how the story is told. It's no longer just a silly adventure. It's about how animation can be used to capture a character's inner world and imagination, perfectly visualizing how Gumball and Darwin see themselves as the fearless, mighty saviors of Elmore. Anime style. A sleeping beast is awakened when Nicole Watterson's past comes roaring back with a vengeance. In the episode The Fury, her old rival Yuki returns to Elmore and demands a rematch of their legendary martial arts tournament. But, to everyone's surprise, Nicole refuses to fight. This inexplicable cowardice confuses her kids, Gumball, Darwin, and Aeneas, who watch as Yuki launches a bizarre and increasingly personal campaign of harassment. Yuki flirts shamelessly with Richard, brazenly annoys Nicole at her job, and even spray paints the word "coward" on the family car, testing Nicole's resolve at every turn. As Nicole remains steadfast in her refusal, the show dives into a stunning manga-style flashback. This segment, animated in striking black and white panels with classic sound effect text, uses dynamic speed lines and dramatic close-ups to reveal the secret history of Nicole and Yuki. We learned they were once inseparable best friends until Nicole's overwhelming power defeated Yuki in a tournament. The emotional weight of the victory forced Nicole to abandon her fighting spirit in order to live a normal life. What Nicole didn't know, however, was that Yuki has spent all this time obsessively training for this very moment. When Yuki finally targets Nicole's home and family, she has no other choice but to accept the challenge. The episode then transitions into a full-blown, jaw-dropping anime-style battle, a testament to the show's incredible versatility. The fight is an epic, over-the-top clash filled with dramatic poses, glowing auras, and exaggerated movements that could rival any top-tier anime series. Characters fly across the screen, a single punch sends shockwaves through the air, and the sheer power of their attacks causes the world around them to crumble. This stunning visual sequence was made possible with the help of the renowned Studio 4th Sea, known for masterpieces like Mind Games, elevating the fight from a mere cartoon gag to a heartfelt and masterful tribute to the anime genre. The battle only ends when the kids get caught in the chaos, reminding Nicole of her true priorities and showing that her strength lies in protecting her family, not in winning a fight. This massive shift in animation style perfectly captures the raw power and emotional intensity of the fight, solidifying the episode as a fan favorite and a landmark of creative ambition. Computer graphics. In the episode The Code, the Watterson family's peace is disrupted by the most modern crisis of all, a Wi-Fi outage. The tranquility of the house is shattered when Gumball and Darwin discover they can't watch their precious online cat videos. They find out that their family has been stealing the Robinsons' internet connection for years. With the internet out of reach, the boys decide the only solution is to recreate the online world in real life. They launch into a series of absurd activities using cardboard and markers to simulate streaming services. They create a rudimentary version of Elmore Plus and a live review site, acting as if they're on a social network. Desperate for a real connection, they even launch a crowdfunding campaign, asking people for money to pay for their own internet service. The real adventure begins when their sister Aeneas suggests they simply hack the Robinsons. In an instant, the real world fades away, and the animation changes completely to a universe of computer graphics. Gumball and Darwin are transported to a virtual realm, a digital landscape that feels incredibly real, filled with 3D models and pixelated environments that recreate their neighborhood on a glowing grid. The mission becomes a hilarious digital quest, where we see them flying through vast data landscapes, breaking through firewalls that appear as walls of code, and evading antivirus software that shows up as a giant digital monster.
Oh, I know! We all forget I just said that!
Guys, don't panic. I spent the last of this.
Their final objective, to get cookies accepted. What makes this sequence so brilliant and memorable is the plot twist. This entire epic adventure in cyberspace doesn't actually happen. It's a reflection of their wild imagination. The animation serves as a window into their minds, perfectly visualizing what their digital quest feels like to them. This change in style, full of references to real-world technology like incognito mode and antivirus software, highlights Gumball's unique ability to use animation to satirize the modern world, exposing the madness that is life on the internet. It's a visual lesson that, for better or worse, much of our modern life happens in our heads. Pixel art animation. In the episode The Console, Gumball's birthday celebration takes a wild turn when Richard gives him a cheap knockoff game console called the Gamage Child. Little do they know this isn't just a toy. It's a gateway to a virtual reality. Upon turning it on, the device activates a powerful vortex, sucking the entire town of Elmore into a video game. The animation shifts to an incredible pixel art style, instantly transforming the familiar world into a fully playable RPG. The characters, backgrounds, and buildings are all rendered in a charming, blocky aesthetic. Elmore becomes a sprawling game map, and the town's residents become pixelated versions of themselves, complete with interactions that parody classic video game tropes. Gumball, Darwin, and Anais are thrust into an adventure filled with main quests and side quests. Along the way, they encounter a flower monster, who turns out to be Leslie, loot items from the Robinsons' house, and even meet Penny, who has been possessed by a cell phone and acts as a boss. The climax of their quest is an epic final boss fight against the Gamage Child console itself, with the whole town joining in to help. The adventure concludes with a hilarious and relatable gamer moment. Gumball, dissatisfied with only 89% completion, starts a new game and sends everyone back to the beginning. The madness of video game aesthetics doesn't stop with one episode. The show continues to use gaming tropes as a brilliant storytelling device in episodes like The Words. Here, a simple argument between Gumball and Alan escalates into a full-on fighting game. The animation becomes a clear homage to classic arcade fighters like Street Fighter, complete with a VS screen that introduces the combatants and replaces their health bars with ego bars. Every insult Gumball and Alan hurl at each other affects their ego, rather than their physical health, making the fight a battle of wit and pride. These animation transitions aren't just a visual gimmick. They're a clever way for the show to tell a story. The pixel art style allows the show to explore video game cliches and create a narrative full of humor that gamers can appreciate. The fighting game aesthetic turns a simple dispute into a dramatic, high-stakes battle, highlighting the true emotional weight of their words. It proves, once again, that the amazing world of Gumball uses its animation to do more than just entertain. It uses it to explore, satirize, and tell a deeper, more relatable story. Puppet animation. When Gumball and Darwin are cleaning out their old toys for a garage sale, they stumble upon some old friends from childhood, the puppets Frank, Howdy, and Grady. While Gumball is ready to get rid of them, Darwin gets strangely attached, to the point where the puppets use him as a vessel and drag him into a creepy puppet world. To save his brother, Gumball puts on Grady and enters the puppet world. In this world, everything is made with real puppets. The movement is rigid and spasmodic, and the sets have a handcrafted feel that makes it even more unsettling. The animation changes drastically, transporting the audience to a completely different atmosphere. In the end, Grady betrays Gumball, but Darwin finds a loose string and, with a dramatic pull, allows his brother to escape, culminating in an epic explosion. To make such a unique episode, the Gumball team partnered with Blank Industries, the studio known for their work on the acclaimed horror comedy miniseries Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. The help of its creators, Rebecca Solon and Joseph Pelling, took the puppet style to a whole new level. And as if that wasn't enough, they also created a mini-series, Waiting for Gumball, that continues the brothers' story in the puppet world. This is a perfect example of how Gumball uses different animation styles to its advantage, allowing the creators to tell even crazier stories.
Huh?
3D animation. When Penny asks Gumball to help with a family issue, he finds himself in an uncomfortable situation. Her father, Patrick, demands that Penny return to her shell as a family tradition, while she argues that she's happier without it. Trapped at the dinner table and pressured to take a side, Gumball gets desperate and decides on a strategy: to tell never-ending stories to buy time. In his attempt to evade the decision, Gumball dives into a series of tales within tales. Each story opens a new door to a completely surreal and colorful 3D world of animation. This segment was the work of Julian Gland, an animator known for his work on pieces like Tennis Ball on His Half-Day Off and Boys Go to Jupiter. The animation feels like a full-on acid trip filled with strange characters, transforming shapes, and flowing scenarios with no clear logic. However, behind the visual madness lies a profound theme. Every story, from butterfly cocoons and seeds turning into flowers to falling armor, is about leaving your comfort zone to grow. This animation style perfectly captures the feeling of a personal journey. The transition from one story to another is not just a visual trick but becomes a metaphor for the journey of Penny, her family, and Gumball, demonstrating once again how Gumball can use animation to deliver a complex message. Hand-drawn doodles. In the new spin-off series, The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, the animation takes a fresh and fun twist. In the episode The Wrinkle, the story focuses on Anais, who starts getting wrinkles from the stress of taking care of her ridiculous family. To solve the problem, she convinces everyone to follow a 40-year plan she created to prevent disasters. Anais's attempts, however, fail miserably. First, she tries to toughen up Darwin, but he comes back as adorable as ever. Then, she tells Gumball to do nothing, but he somehow still causes absolute chaos. Finally, she tries to get Richard and Nicole to retire to an animal sanctuary, which ends in a chaotic fight. Seeing that nothing goes as planned, Anais turns into a wrinkle mush. But Gumball, with his usual charm, tells her that instead of trying to fix everything, she should simply embrace the chaos. This is the moment when the animation style changes radically. Gumball and Darwin launch into a full song, and the scene is filled with hand-drawn doodles. The professional animation mixes with drawings that look like they were done by a kid, creating a fun, messy vibe. The use of the doodles is no coincidence. It's a fundamental part of the story. It shows Anais that things don't have to be perfect, and that sometimes it's okay to leap headfirst without worrying too much. This style is one more example of how Gumball uses animation to tell a deeper story, full of references and, in this case, with a message about acceptance and imperfection. As you can see, Gumball's animation isn't just for show. Every style, from anime to puppets, is used to tell a deeper story, full of references and boundless creativity. It's this artistic madness that makes Gumball such a brilliant and unique show. If you enjoyed this trip through the world of animation, don't miss out. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more videos where we uncover the secrets of your favorite shows. Come and explore creativity with us.